Ah, man, I love this place. Sure, it may look like every 8-year-old's first Minecraft world, but regardless, it's home. It's where everything started. Oh, hey, what's this, conveniently placed button do? Oh, no. Oh, wait, no! No! Huh. Well, there goes 30 hours of hard work down the drain. I guess I'll have to replace all this. This time, I'm gonna do things the right way. By building every single farm in hardcore Minecraft. Okay, I'm actually not building every farm, because I do have a life outside of this game, believe it or not. But rather, I'll be making every farm essential for a thriving hardcore world. My very first farm is going to be a creeper farm, because I am in desperate need of some rockets. Right now, my main mode of transportation is towering up with dirt blocks and flying for like 10 seconds. Yeah, I can't live like this. Okay, I think that should be everything. Luckily, most of the resources were in my shulker boxes already. Now I can go ahead and build this thing. Alright, now, no, please. Okay. Well, since I don't have rockets, I'm going to have to build my way back up. I probably should have gathered a couple up before I did this, but it's fine. Alright, now we just keep building all the way up. And again. And again. And again. Yeah, I think you get the point. Okay, perfect. Now I build this part, which is where the creepers fall into. Oh, no. No. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go kill some creepers. I can't live like this. Aha, there's one. No. Oh my gosh. That's so many! Okay, that's much better. Now I need to build up the first set of walls. And now we can make the spawning platform. And now a spot for a snow golem to sit, which for whatever reason attracts creepers. And boom, there we go. Now I just need to build up the last part of this. And boom, that is one module of this thing done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the spawning platform 2 times so that it's even more effective. Alright, and with that, I believe the farm should be completed now. My creeper farm was now fully constructed and producing a great amount of gunpowder. While this is a good start, honestly, this farm is a warm-up for this video if anything. Now that I don't have to worry about rockets as much, and can travel to get blocks of varying types more easily, I'm going to do my absolute best to make my builds look as good as I can possibly make them. That'll be a real challenge for me, as I barely know how to make something look good in a creative world, let alone an unforgiving hardcore one. But if I want to be like the pros, I need to learn the ins and outs of building. And what better way to learn than by diving in head first? The question was, would I surprise myself and create something great, or would I continuously mess up and ultimately fail? In complete honesty, I did not have much faith in myself. Okay, this is where things are going to get interesting, because I'll be building all the farms that don't have to be in specific locations right here on top of this mountain. Before I make any more farms though, I'm actually going to make a structure in the center that will act as a centerpiece for this area. So first, I'm going to need a lot of spruce wood, and also a lot of dark oak wood. And now I'm going to have to travel about 27 light years from my next block, terracotta. It only spawns in mesa biomes, which are pretty rare, so this might take a while. Okay, finally. Ow. Okay, I got enough terracotta to last me a long time because there's no way I'm coming all the way back here. I don't think I have enough rockets to make it back home as is, so I'm actually going to make a nether portal. Oh, okay. Because, if you didn't know, 1 block in the nether is equal to 8 blocks in the overworld. I just realized if I run out of firework rockets before I get there, I'm kind of in trouble, because that means I'll have to walk however many thousand blocks it is in the nether. Okay. That hurt. Okay, now that I'm back, I can start building this thing. First, I need the walls. now the roof. And here's what it looks like. Not great. I might be able to make it look good though if I add some depth and throw in some details. Okay, yeah, that's a major improvement from what it was. Now I just need to repeat it on every wall. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. It had kind of a rough start, and I was expecting it to be terrible, but no, I think it's pretty good. This is a sugarcane farm, which I'm sure you knew already, but that's, you know, specifically, this is the kind I build in most of my Minecraft worlds, but this isn't going to cut it. Instead, I'll be building one of the most effective sugarcane farms I could find. Like, seriously, I didn't even know they could be this big. Oh, also, before I forget, I will link all of the farm tutorials in the description. Okay, thankfully, I already have most of the resources for this one, except glass. I need a lot of glass. So I'll gather that up real quick, and then I can start building it. Oh. Hey, just found that randomly. Okay, so this farm is pretty big, but by the looks of it, it's pretty simple. First, we build the collection system, which is just a bunch of hoppers and rails, which we'll later place a hopper minecart on top of. Next, we place some sand for the sugarcane to be on top of, and then some waterlogged stairs so that the sugarcane can actually exist. Now we place in the pistons, which will harvest the sugarcane, and then some observers, which will detect when the sugarcane is fully grown. Anyway, that's the gist of it. Now we need to stack this design on top of itself 2 times, and of course add in the sugarcane. Something tells me this farm wouldn't be very functional without it. I think the tutorial says to have a total of 6 modules, which is kind of crazy. I don't need that much sugarcane. And then finally, we just need to throw in the glass and also some wood, and this should be done now. Now on to the next farm, which is going to be a chicken farm. This one's going to be 10 times easier than the other ones. I could probably do it in my sleep, so I'm just going to breeze through it real quick. Boom, there we go. Now we just need chickens in here. If this is a chicken, then I will throw all of my totems of undying to the lava. Oh wow, look! A random chicken that happened to spawn in magically. How convenient. Oh, oh yeah, we got 2 chickens. Okay, cool. So now once I have a bunch of chickens, I'll put them all on the farms, and hopefully it'll be generating a lot of cooked chicken for me. But in the meantime, I'll start working on my next farm, which it's going to be a super smelter. First, I'm just going to build a little structure for the smelter to be inside of, just to make it extra fancy, since that's what I'm going for here. I've messed it up. I've messed it up. I'm off by 1 block. Okay, that's much better. Now I need to make the roof on this. I'm not sure how that's going to go, because I'm terrible at making roofs. Okay, let's see what that looks like so far. Oh gosh. That's, ooh. I was trying to do something fancy, but it just looks like a bird took a giant dump on it, so I'm just gonna take this down and try again. This time, I'm just gonna try and make it look like a normal wooden roof. There we go. It's not perfect, but one thing's for sure, it's a million times better than it was before. Once the exterior of my farm was built up, I made a stairway down on the inside, which would lead to the actual smelter. After that, I went ahead and built it. This was another super easy one, pretty much just a line of hoppers, furnaces, more hoppers, and rails. The farm itself was now fully functional. However, I ran into yet another problem with the design of this build that was pretty upsetting. So this works, which is good, I guess, but it just looks so bad. I want all the chests to be next to each other, but the way this thing works, that just can't happen without a bunch of super complicated machinery. I don't know, it's just kind of demotivating for the rest of the video, because I don't know what I'm doing, and it's become more and more apparent the more I progress that I just don't know what I'm doing. What is that? What did I just do? What did I just make while talking? I don't know what that is. I don't know why I'm still talking about it. It's not even worth talking about. I don't even want to make it anymore. This small mistake may seem insignificant, however, it was really disappointing. The upsetting part wasn't this one fail, but rather the abundance of them. Through every step in this video, I had made a mistake in some way. For example, the outside of this build was a struggle, now the inside was a mess too. My build from earlier looked really bad too before I added detail, and on top of that, I felt so underqualified that anytime I actually did something right, I would just chalk it up to dumb luck. I really wanted to go the extra mile this video, and rather than just add a bunch of farms, actually add detail and make something impressive. But all of these complications were just proving my fears to be true. I had no idea what I was doing. Thankfully, after a while of experimenting, I actually managed to come up with a solution to solve this problem. Using some trapdoors and stairs, I was able to separate the materials chests and the output chest on 2 different floors. And honestly, I think I prefer the way this turned out over what one single floor would have looked like. It looks pretty nice in here. Hey, looks like I got a bunch of chickens now, that's good. So now I can go ahead and put all of these guys into all the farms I have, and then all 3 of them should begin producing cooked chicken. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I actually made a short about when I was looking for chickens for this farm, and one of the commenters on that video asked me to name a chicken after him. And I figured, hey, why not? So, I dubbed this chicken the best duck YT. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think he realized that I was going to put his chicken into a killing machine, but he probably won't mind. So hey, leave a comment down below and maybe you too can have a chicken named after you and subsequently thrown into a killing machine, but that's not the important part. Alright, now it's time to build my next farm, which is going to be a villager multiplier. If you saw my last video, then you know I call it a multiplier, okay? I refuse to call it a villager breeder. Oh, I just broke my shovel. Okay, that's awesome. I think I had a shovel back at my base from my last video, so I'll just go grab that real quick. Now let me go ahead and get a mending book real quick. Oh, right, I forgot. Okay, so the design for this farm is really simple. It's the same one I used in the last video, and it's really easy to make, but still provides way more villagers than anyone will ever need, as I'm sure you noticed in the intro of this video. Okay, now as I said, making the farm was easy, but that doesn't mean the whole thing's easy, because I have to get villagers in here now. In the last video, getting villagers into the farm was barely an inconvenience, since there was a village right next to where I built it. But this time, the only village nearby that I know of is several mountains away, so yeah. Thankfully, I have an idea though, because I think I can just link up my nether portal here to another portal in the village. What? How do you Okay, well, that's just more convenient for me, I guess. Okay, now I can just link up these 2 nether portals, which will allow me to easily transport the villagers. Okay, please do not spawn me in the wrong place. Yes! Now I just need to bring them over to my base. Yeah, this is so much easier than just taking them over a mountain. Now, because there is composters in there, I should be able to just get out of the boat and he'll run right in. Right? No. No. Yes. Yes. Good job. Good job. I knew you could do it. Now for the second villager. What? Oh, well, that's convenient. Hopefully this one will go in too. Wrong way, buddy. Where are you going? No, don't. Where are you going? You're going for my barrels? Are you kidding me? Oh, I gotta get rid of all of these. Please get in the farm. Otherwise, you and your friend might die. Why is your head on backwards? Yeah, just go. No! Where are you going? See this nice. You really have a problem with your... Okay, wow. I was gonna say, you really have a problem with your neck, but you just snapped it right back into place. Okay. Alright, look at this. Nice, juicy little... I don't know why I called it juicy. It's a nice barrel. So go get it. You are stupid. Where are you going? There's nothing over there. I'm telling you right now, if you go get another barrel, I'm getting a new villager. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So something happens with that one villager. I don't know. I think he walked away somewhere off in the horizon. He's gone now. I don't know where he went. I think you'll be better than that last guy though, because the last one had some serious problems along with a broken neck. Oh, you might have a broken neck too. Oh, yep. You also have a broken neck. Come on. No. Just go. Okay. You know what? Okay, I didn't even need to hit him. He literally fell in. Okay, that was way harder than it needed to be. With the villagers now loaded into the farm, I slapped a roof on top, and then it was complete. Alright, I'm gonna need to start speeding through this now, because this video is already kind of long, and we've only completed 1/3 of the farms needed. So, it's time to pick up the pace. I am now going to be building a wood farm and a cobblestone farm. Both of these farms, while effective, are incredibly simple, so there should be no reason that I mess anything up. Why isn't this working? It's not spawning the TNT. Oh, I built this whole scaffolding part block off. Okay, I gotta rebuild this. Aside from building that one section of my farm completely wrong, I completed my wood farm with relative ease. Using my skeleton farm I made in the last episode, I was able to get a ton of bones in order to make bone meal for my farm, therefore giving me the ability to pretty much grow as many trees as I wanted to. Next, I need to make my cobblestone farm. For this one, I had to go out and replenish my iron, because the design for this farm used a ton of hoppers. Among some other resources, I also had to go to the nether and grab a bunch of lava. The most challenging part for this farm was gathering the resources, but building it should be no problem, as long as I don't fall into the lava. Ow. Alright, and I believe this should be done now. I really hope it works, because it involves TNT, and that would probably be very bad if it didn't work. But there's only one way to find out, so here we go. Okay, that is very loud. Alright. Alright, well, I guess I can move on to the next farm now. I'm not really looking forward to this one. For my next farm, I was planning to build an iron farm, but little did I know that this would be the hardest one yet. But not for the reason you might expect. I didn't mean to rhyme there. I was trying to be dramatic, but now it just sounds corny. I'm just gonna go build now. I don't have time for this. To make my iron farm, I started by building up the main structure. The resources for this farm were 90% building blocks, which I decided to use stone bricks for. To get all of it, I AFK'd at my cobblestone farm, and then, once I had enough cobblestone, AFK'd again at my super smelter. Building the first part of this farm was really easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of blocks to place, and it took me over an hour just for this first part, but thankfully, it wasn't advanced. Just 4 spawning platforms and areas for villagers and zombies to live. I was able to just relax and enjoy myself while building it. The next part of this farm wouldn't be so relaxing though, because it involves villagers. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait for them to just walk into the farm themselves like I had to do with the villager multiplier. Instead, I would simply have to build a long railroad leading from the villager area to the ground, gather a bunch of ice, make an ice road, get a villager from my multiplier, drive him into the farm with my boat, put a minecart down so he'd be transported up the farm, do the same thing for 2 more villagers, and that's it. That's 1 module done. Now I just have to do it 7 more times. Alright, we got all the villagers in, now for the 4 zombies. Oh, no. What? And with that, my iron farm was complete, and incredibly productive. Now I was on to the final farm of this district, and this honestly was one of the easiest ones, because the final farm, at least for this main area, was going to be a villager trading hall, and to make it I would use the build that started it all. All I had to do was make the inside not look like a homeless person's house. I don't know why I said that. Homeless people don't have houses, that's why they're called homeless people. Throughout the course of this video I had actually learned a lot about building, and I feel like I was able to end up with something that looked pretty nice without having any complications for once. After I'd spruced the place up, all that was left was to put villagers in. I know I've been complaining about villagers throughout the course of this video, but this time it wasn't actually that bad because all I had to do was literally take them down the same minecart track and put them all in myself. As far as dealing with villagers goes, this was probably the best experience yet. And before I knew it, the villager trading hall was complete. And this was supposed to be the last thing for this district. However, there was still one glaring issue that was impossible to ignore. Everything looked terrible. My goal for this video was to do more than make functional farms. That would be too easy. Rather, my intention was to put my building skills and patience to the test and create something unlike anything I've made before. When you look at all these farms individually, they look pretty good, but I cared about the bigger picture. And as a whole, I knew I had failed. Half of the problems seemed to be things that'd be unfixable. For example, the space in between a lot of the farms seemed too empty and uninteresting, and the farms themselves seemed too far away from each other. Not to mention, my iron farm was built at a different ground level from the rest of the farms. And to compensate, I tried making this big dirt pillar to build it on top of, but that just made things worse. Among a lot of smaller issues, everything was just wrong. But after everything I've done so far, I'd be an idiot if I didn't try something. So, I put all of my building skills to the test. I utilized things I had learned in this video and things I learned in the past. I didn't fully understand what I was doing, but I just kept doing it. I made a giant cube to even out the ground around my iron farm. I made some cliff sides to make it look less like what it was, a giant cube. I threw down some lampposts, rocks, ponds, path blocks, just whatever felt right to me. And before I knew it, I was done. Now to get a good look of the whole thing. This was the moment that would determine the fate of this video. Would I succeed in my goal of creating something great? Or would I fall short despite all of my time, energy, and effort that I've already put into this video? I just don't know what I'm doing. What is that? For my own sanity, I wish I could say the end of the video was here, but I still have a lot of work to do. Even though the farming district is done now and looking pretty good, I do still have a couple of farms left to make. And the reason I'm not building these ones in the farming district also is because they all require specific locations in order to work correctly. The first of these farms was going to be a slime farm. This one needed to be in a swamp biome in order to work correctly. This farm would be one of the easier ones. The hardest part about it was probably gathering the magma. Gosh, please! Oh, there's magma everywhere, but I can't mine it because I'm underneath a massive lava pool. Oh my, I can't even walk. I can't even walk. This game is great. This game's so great. Yeah, that didn't go very well. I know I've been skipping over the resource gathering of these farms a lot, but I kinda have to, because there's so much progress I have to cover in the span of this video, and I don't want it to be 2 hours long. Also, it's just kinda boring. In a lot of ways, similar to the one I just mentioned, this video is pretty different from the last one. So if you've made it this far, please let me know what you think of this video, because I'm still trying to figure some things out, and it's really helpful to hear your opinion on what parts of the video you do like, and even parts that you don't. Feel free to tell me you hated the whole thing, because it's still useful information to me. Anyways, my slime farm was now finished, and despite being simple, it was still really effective. However, the next farm wouldn't be so easy. This one would be a raid farm. At this point in the video, I was in desperate need for one of these, as I was down to my last totem. If you're wondering why I haven't shown me using up any of the totems in this video, it's because it was always so epic that I physically couldn't show it on video or your brain would have literally exploded. Totally not because it was super embarrassing or anything like that. The resource gathering of this farm was a little bit on the rougher side, mostly because I had to go on a whole expedition to get half of these items just because of how random they were. For example, I needed to go to a trial chamber for a pot and a copper crate. This is by far the strangest set of resources I've had to gather for a farm. I mean, we've got a cauldron, grindstones, powdered snow, an auto crafter, as I already mentioned, a pot and a copper grate. How does putting all this together get me totems? Anyways, although the resource gathering wasn't fun, by far the worst part was building the actual thing. I have no idea how this farm works, and as I was watching the tutorial, I felt like I was just randomly throwing blocks down with no rhyme or reason. There's so many intricate details of this farm that if I misplaced a single block, the entire thing would likely collapse into shambles. So, on top of being very confused, I was also incredibly stressed the entire time. Once I finished placing all the blocks, the nightmare still wasn't over. In fact, fact, it just got worse. Because now, I would have to transport villagers from my farming district, which was about 1,000 blocks away. Thankfully, this wasn't actually as bad as it sounded, because once again, I could just use a nether portal to get them there. And rather than building an entire railroad between each level, like the tutorial suggested, I instead just moved the nether portal each time. Finally, I was finished. If I'd realized how difficult this farm would be, I would have just saved it for last. There are some farms coming up that are still pretty difficult, but in hindsight, out of every farm in this video, this one was by far the worst. But on the bright side, I was completely done now. Didn't have to worry about it ever again. Anyways, now to test it. Okay. Okay, well it started. The raid started. Okay, here we go. Where'd the bar go? Was that supposed to happen? That's right, it didn't work. Which meant I was not, in fact, completely done. But, you know, it's probably just a couple of misplaced blocks or something like that. Let me just check my coordinates real quick and see if... For those of you who don't know what those little numbers at the top mean, these are chunk coordinates. I don't know exactly how they work. I assume they're a little different from normal coordinates. All I know is that for this farm to work correctly, the block you're supposed to stand on needs to read 500. But that's not what mine says. Mine says 5011, meaning this entire farm is broken because it's a couple of blocks off. So, I would have to tear down the entire thing and rebuild it from scratch. Well, that was awful. The worst part is, I still actually have no idea if this works, and I won't for a while because I'm completely out of ominous bottles. So I have to go make an ominous potion farm and come back to this later. So until that's done, I won't know whether or not I have to rebuild this entire thing for a third time. Luckily, I think this is one of the easier farms of this video, but the only pillager outpost I know of is like 25,000 blocks away. That sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. I actually think it's more than that. So this is gonna take a while.
One eternity later.
Okay, now that I'm actually here, this should be super easy. All I have to do is put an iron golem in here, and now I make a collection area where the pillagers will fall into, slap down some soul campfires so they die, build a fence around the whole thing, and finally I tear down this layer of the outpost. And this should be done now. It's that easy. The way that it works is that the pillagers spawn in, see the iron golem, and because they're idiots, they run straight into the campfire. Now that it's done, I actually need to make an easy way to get back home, because I refuse to fly back and forth a million blocks every time I want to use this thing. So, what I'm gonna do is create a nether portal here. If I can remember how to build a nether portal. I don't know what the heck that was that I just made. And this time, I'm gonna go all the way up into the nether roof, so I'm not crashing into walls and stuff while flying around. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. I think you just... Oh, are you able to get stuck in the block while doing that? Because if so, I may have almost just died there. But I'll pretend like that didn't happen. Oh, crap. That was my last piece of obsidian. Oh, no, I'm stuck up here. Oh, crap. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. There's an ender just behind me. I can't believe you fell for that. It's understandable, though. My acting is just too incredible. I bet some of you shed a tear. Anyways, I think this portal should now lead back to the ominous potion farm. Yes, perfect. Now, if I just fly around for a little bit, and now I think I place my nether portal right here, and it should lead back to... Perfect, yes, it leads back to the farming district. So it is a little bit of a long flight, but it cuts the time down from being unbearable to just being slightly inconvenient. Now that I actually had ominous potions, I was able to test my raid farm, and it works really well. I wish I could show you the footage and my reaction to it working really well, but my recording software decided to break and freeze on this frame, which by the way happened literally right before I tested it. What are the odds? Oh well. All that matters is that I am now once again invincible. Whoa, sorry, I don't know where that came from. I don't even watch that show. I was trying to say that I'm invincible. Ah, what the heck? Fine, I'm unkillable. Invincible. Alright, I'm just gonna move on to the next farm. The next farm is gonna be a Prismarine farm. Before making it, I spent tons of time making potions in preparation, because while building, you have to deal with guardians, and I didn't want to do that. I did still have to jump through hoops for these resources, getting blaze powder and netherwort and all that fun stuff. I also had to learn how to make a fermented spider eye. I've been playing this game since I was a little kid and didn't even know what that did until now. Anyways, after some time, I had all the potions I needed. Invisibility to deal with the guardians, water breathing, so I couldn't drown, and night vision because I wanted to see better. The potions were really helpful for the first step of the farm where I had to kill all the Elder Guardians, and also for building the first small part. But all of my potions wore off after 3 minutes because I didn't know how to make longer lasting potions. After that point, this farm became a nightmare. There's pretty much only 3 main and super easy parts in this farm. One part is essentially a giant soul sand elevator designed to kidnap the Guardians, another is a funnel leading to the middle, and the last part serves as a killing and collection area. On paper, this sounds like one of the easier farms, but in execution, it was unbelievably annoying. Because my potions wore off, the whole time building this thing, I was being battered around like a piñata. Because of these complications, my method for building this thing was to place a block, maybe 2 if I got lucky, and then retreat to the top of the farm to heal for like 30 whole seconds. So yeah, this was a really slow process. After the most painful hour of my life, the farm was complete. Next, I'd need to make a gold farm. This may be one of the more useful farms in this video. The main resources in this farm were glass, and magma, like a lot of magma. I was really dreading getting the magma for this farm considering how it went last time. Thankfully though, I was able to find a bunch of magma spots that didn't have lava everywhere and was able to get all the magma pretty smoothly, with some exceptions. My elytra was not on there. Now I was able to build this thing. It initially looks really difficult to me because if you didn't perfectly line up the circle shape, you'd have to tear it down and try again. And I'm not usually good at making circles, in this game or in general. But it turned out to be really easy once I learned the pattern. And in over just an hour of constantly burning my toes, this farm was fully complete. I was now on to my final farm of this video, an Enderman XP farm. When I picked out this farm before I recorded anything for this video, I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, along with any of the other farms. Most of them looked like really difficult projects on their own, let alone being all thrown together. While I didn't have much faith in myself going in, I knew I had to try. And that's all that mattered. That knowledge is what got me here now, confidently telling you that this farm was really easy. I'm sure many of you who have made these types of farm can attest to that fact too, but I'm sure there are also many of you who are convinced that you could never do something like this. But I thought the same thing. What I've learned is that things you've never done before are naturally going to seem really intimidating and often scary, even if realistically they're not. But if you give up on step 1, then you'll never really know. So go and try that intimidating thing. Maybe start your own hardcore world and try starting a really ambitious project. You might end up getting farther than you expected. Or even beyond Minecraft. Maybe just try picking up an instrument for the first time and seeing if you can learn something. Or starting a YouTube channel of your own and just having some fun with it. Go and compliment someone's shoes, I don't know. Commit tax for okay, maybe not that last one. And know that when you try that intimidating thing, it might not go as smoothly as you imagined it in your head. And that's good, because being bad at something new isn't entirely failure, but rather it's the first step to becoming great. As Sun Tzu once said, you cannot spell success without suck. Or suck. I guess, you know what I mean. I don't know, yeah. That's a real quote, by the way, look it up. Finally, my last farm was complete. And really efficient. Look at all those guys. Oh my goodness. In my last video, I was eager to log off as soon as I finished recording. But this time, I actually decided to go back to my farming district and get one last look at it. I still couldn't believe I made it. I'm not trying to claim that it's the greatest thing ever. I'm sure many of you could do better. But the point is, I didn't think I could. At the beginning of this video, I would become incredibly stressed and demotivated anytime I messed something up. But now at the end, I finally learned that a little bit of failure goes a long way, as long as you don't let it stop you.